I'm here today with Darcy All, co-founder of Illum Software. Their first product is iZUP, which is great for moms, great to keep our lives a little simpler because when the kids get a little older, we get a little more scared. Also with us is Marissa, and I'd like to say hello, guys, and thank you for doing this webinar and teaching us some little tricks that will make life a little simpler.
Thank you, Laura. Happy to be here.
Great. Well, we have a slideshow, I know, and I'll just go ahead and start it. And if you can, just go ahead and tell us all about your software. That would be great.
Sure. Happy to do so. Go to the second slide, please.
Sure. There you go.
So our company, Illum Software, is located in Massachusetts. We are a mission-based company working on location-based solutions to real lifestyle problems, the first thing we're tackling is distracted driving caused by the use of handheld devices behind the wheel. iZUP, our first product, is a solution to cell phone-related distracted driving, and it really aims to prevent any unnecessary communication while driving, eliminating all the distractions that don't allow you to focus on the road. We have a team of experienced mobile and industry veterans leading us, and we are now a company of about 14 strong. We still consider ourselves a startup, but we have come a long, long way, and we look forward to the future as well. So how do we get interested in this issue? It came to our attention, well, actually came to my attention when I was teaching my teenage son how to drive, that teenagers and cell phones are a bad mix behind the wheel. So we started to look into the numbers and found that 28% of all crashes involve cell phones, and actually that number may be as high as 40%, is what we're hearing from some of our insurance industry partners. There are 1.6 million crashes a year and over a half of a billion injuries and 6,000 deaths. Now, what does the use of a cell phone do to you while you're driving? It makes you 400 times more likely to crash, and it's actually the equivalent of a 0.08 blood alcohol level, so it's like being drunk behind the wheel. And talking, although many people feel texting is the principal risk, talking is just as risky, and hands-free does not solve the problem. There's a growing body of evidence that suggests that hands-free represents a cognitive distraction, and you're not focused on your environment, and you're very distracted. It's really.
I see so many people talking, and when they talk, their eyes kind of look up, you know, like they're thinking.
Yeah, that's right, and because you're maybe visualizing the other person or anticipating what you need to say next. It's not the same as having a conversation with somebody right sitting next to you who's also looking at the same set of road conditions. Here is how iZUP works. It works with GPS-enabled smartphones, and if you don't have a GPS-enabled smartphone now, the next time you buy one, you will, because 99% of all new phones are GPS-enabled smartphones. And we use the GPS in the phone to determine when the phone is traveling at a rate of speed higher than 5 miles per hour. So when that happens, after you've downloaded our application, iZUP, to your phone, it will automatically detect motion when you get in a moving vehicle, and then the application will automatically launch. You don't have to turn it on or think about it or turn it off. And this effectively eliminates all cell phone-related distractions. You cannot text, you cannot talk. All of those important means of communication, your emails, your texts, your voice messages, will be waiting in your inbox for you to retrieve when you come safely to a stop. And we do, however, allow for a few exceptions. Emergency calls to 911, of course, and in fact, if you dial 911, your account holder, so in the case of a teenager, would likely be their parent, would receive an email and text alert as well as a Google map with the specific location of the emergency. And the app would automatically shut down and allow the person to communicate with emergency services. And we also allow communication between the handset and 3 pre-selected numbers. So let's say mom, dad, and home for a teenager. So those numbers work all the time on an incoming and outgoing basis. And for a mobile workforce person, that might be their fleet manager. But that is the idea there, that when absolutely necessary, you can reach the 3 numbers you've pre-selected. We hope people will be judicious in their use of them because it's still distracting to talk. And additional features of the app, we offer a tamper alert because teenagers, being as clever as they are, will probably or may probably try to mess with the application so that it doesn't block them when they don't want to be blocked. But if that's the case, the system would automatically alert the account administrator, the parent, that they attempted to turn off iZUP or the GPS. We also know when, iZUP also knows when you're in heavy traffic, and it won't allow you to use your handheld when you're in stop-and-go traffic or at stoplights. How does it know that? Well, it's on a timer based on the average length of a stoplight, and the algorithm is smart enough to know when you're in stop-and-go traffic. You'd be surprised to know how many accidents happen less than 10 miles per hour, something like the vast majority. And we also offer password-protected passenger override. If a teenager is riding in the family car on a trip and is a passenger not driving and wants to use the phone, parent can go right to the handset, temporarily deactivate the program, and automatically set it to resume on a timer or on a different day. And that's primarily just so that that flexibility is available if needed. But it is password protected, so the teen cannot do it themselves.
So if we're all driving, say, to Thanksgiving dinner,
yeah,
and their car goes, or their phone goes to iZUP and locks, I can just take it and unlock it since I'm driving for that period of time?
You can
and
do
they
that.
can listen to music? Okay.
Yep, you can do that. Of course, we're also hoping people will have conversations again.
Right.
In the car. It's a novel idea. And so this is what you'll see when you're driving. The app will automatically launch. In unblocked mode, the upper right-hand corner is a green button. When the app launches, the green button turns red, which indicates that you're now it's now blocking. And the only numbers you'd be able to call would be the 3 pre-selected ones, and you'd be able to find those by tapping on the My Numbers, and the 3 numbers would pop up. And then we've also allowed for 1 application to also be available with it in mind that it would be a turn-by-turn voice navigation application, not a game or anything distracting. And of course, 911 is down in the lower left-hand corner. You'd have to hit that twice. If you hit it accidentally, you'll be prompted to be sure you want to dial 911. And if you are, you hit yes, in which case you'd be quickly connected, and those alerts would be sent out via email, text, and Google Map to the account holder.
So mom and dad would get an email saying that your child just hit 911.
And exact location of the emergency via Google Map.
Okay.
And what's interesting about that is that the average notification time is 6 hours between the time that.
And this is immediate.
This is immediate, and it's as long as 24 hours in some states. So this gives parents a little peace of mind. They'd know more quickly.
Right.
And we will have an enhanced feature in the near future that will actually also begin the transfer of medical records and activation of a phone chain.
Okay.
And so here's what some of the major media outlets have said about us. We were reviewed and compared to several of our competitors. And yes, we do have competitors, which means that this is a real issue and a real market. And the conclusion was by the New York Times that only iZUP worked every time, all the time, solid as a rock. So we feel very good about that. We know we have best-in-class technology, and our competitors would even say that we're recognized as the market leader.
I haven't seen a competitor, so I didn't really know there was anything out there like this, but I'm glad to know that there is.
There are. I'm sorry, Laura.
I'm just really glad to know that there are more of these kind of applications, because that means people are really recognizing it, that there's a need.
There is a need. That it's a real issue. It's very much in the news and front and center. Different of us competitors, solve the problem differently. We really believe that the only safe use of the cell phone behind the wheel is no use of the cell phone. There are others who believe that you should be notifying people on somebody's contact list if they're driving, which to us seems like another distraction, sending another person a message that you're driving. So we're about changing behavior and people understanding that it's really okay not to answer, almost immediately to a text or a voice or an email, that it can wait, and while they're driving, and hopefully their friends will understand that it needs to wait, and that's the reason they're not getting back is because they're driving.
Now, when they're driving and the voicemail, does it go to their default voicemail, or does it go to another voicemail like, I'm driving, I'll get back to you?
It goes to default voicemail. And,
okay.
But the notification message is something we have in development as well.
Okay.
And so here are just, we've been fortunate enough to have gotten some great media exposure, which helps not only us, but it helps the whole market, and it helps awareness about the issue. So these are some of the news and media outlets that have covered us favorably. So it's all for the good.
Awesome. It's
And,
also easy to install.
Yeah, it's extremely easy to install. If you've ever bought anything on the Internet, and I'm sure, Laura, that all of your readers and listeners do, or have, rather, it's very simple, and Marissa's going to walk you through just how simple it is. But it's available through our website, getizup.com, or through a couple of app stores, including BlackBerry and Android, VCast, and will be on AT&T and Verizon as well very shortly.
Very good. And it's not expensive.
It's not expensive at all. And in fact, we're going to have a 99-cent Thanksgiving promotion, right, Marissa?
Yep, starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow. But it's even at the current pricing you see on the screen, it's extremely affordable. I mean, you can get your entire family protected up to 5 handsets for $60 a year.
Yeah, that's awesome.